You got a lot of snow there too?
We didn't get as much as you guys did in Colorado. The storm didn't get heavy until it like got close to our border.
Okay.
I'm going to brag. I'm in Canada and it's super sunny out and no snow at all. We haven't had snow for actually a while now. It's getting kind of dry here. So, yeah, it's beautiful out. I'm actually wearing shorts today.
Yeah, it's nice here too. I mean, 2 feet one day, 70 degrees the next.
Yeah, we could still get
That's
some.
how it is.
We could get some spring snow, but we're dealing with our own chaos. My daughter's on quarantine now, but we found out like a week late, so she's already halfway through her quarantine.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
I'm just now realizing Raul Osornio has joined us. I have not seen you since Skills for Life in 2018 in Houston. Hello, Gladys and Raul. Glad you joined us. Okay, so yes, today is Adaptive Sports by Christine Lentz, and anybody else that wants to chime in with their adaptive sports, but I'll let Christine kick it off.
Well, welcome everyone. How many do we have on here? I see 1, 2, 3. It seems like quite a few. And
we have 11, and I think I see James. Hey, James. Haven't officially met you before, except for on Facebook.
I see Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Do we want to do a quick introduction, Christine, or do you?
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Yeah, let's go around and everybody introduce themselves and where they're from, and if they would like to introduce a sport that they're involved with, and if they would like to demonstrate it today, because I would love this to be interactive. I have a few sports that I can show, but I think we can all learn from each other. I'm not the only one on here who does sports, I know, and I'd love to learn from you guys as well. So just please jump in as we go, because I'm not sure of all who's on here. I can't see everyone. So why don't we start with Victoria? I can see Victoria. So if you don't mind starting it off, Victoria, then we'll get going after that.
Sure, I'm Victoria Powell. I'm a life care planner and case manager, and all 4 limbs intact. And I'm here to learn because I have patients who I work with, and I learn more from you guys than I do from books or internet or anything else. So I need to pick up all the tidbits that I can and connect them to all you great people.
Thanks, Victoria. Okay. Jamie, do you want to go?
Sure. I'm Jamie Ketchum. I'm in Denver with Christine. Currently, I don't do very many sports, but I have tried a little skiing and some sled hockey since my injuries. So that's about the extent of it there.
Awesome. All right, Jason, you're looking all around. Why don't you go?
So bilateral arm amputee. I wear body-powered hooks and I wear 2-mile electrics. I like to hunt, fish. I water ski with the kids. I don't know. I do a little bit of everything, really.
You're in your car.
Can you still hear me? I know I'm driving. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Are you driving?
Did you go out or what? Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's driving.
He's driving. Yeah. Do you want to go? Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, hi. Yeah, Mike, quad amp, 20 years, snow skiing, skydiving, surfing, jet skiing, horseback riding. Right now, my leisure activities are cleaning my house and cleaning the yard, which is very active. I got way too much junk in the yard. I started a project I need to finish.
Your house looks
Cleaning out a shed. I don't know. All that junk in the backyard. I got to get to it.
We're not judging.
Oh, I know I started yesterday, but I'll get around to it. I'm gonna take a nap. I just ate lunch.
Yeah, it looks like it. We can see you. Bill, do you want to go?
Sure. Hi, I'm Bill. Bill Hodgman. I live in Delaware. I survived sepsis in 2014. I'm a quadruple amputee, bilateral below the knee. Can you tell? No left hand and just a partial right hand. Say hi to Bill. Say hi to little Bill. Um, not into too many sports. I'm just today I got my latest prosthetics. We're locking them down, and in 2 weeks I'll have the final version, and I'll be hiking again. We're also working on a prosthetic, a myoelectric hook for my left. Thank you, Jason, for recommending that over Touch Bionics in terms of functionality. And looking forward to Frisbee golf again. I want to put together some sort of terminal device where I'll be able to throw a Frisbee.
That's cool. All right, and I'm sure there's people I can't see. So who am I missing?
Raul or Sonia?
Hi, everyone.
Ah, there he is. Hi, Raul.
Hi, how's it been?
We're all surviving the COVID.
Oh,
Tell us about yourself.
pretty good. No surprise? No surprise for you guys? Well, for me, this pandemic is gonna be like experience, like a very different year. It's very a lot of things that I learned with this pandemic, but no surprise for me. Everything is go okay.
Good.
Yeah, no, I do just very out there when we come back for the Escape for Life for Houston. Very out there. I gotta do just the one goal that I gotta completed, that sky ride the Willis Tower, and I did 4 or 5 floors.
You did 45 floors?
No, it's 105.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that's great.
That is great.
It's 20. I think that's 2,400 stairs.
2,400. That's great.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Do you?
And then, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say. So, do you? What prosthesis do you have? Prosthetic arms?
Yeah, 2 arms and a leg.
2 arms.
Yeah, I don't have my both arms and my right leg.
Right leg too. Wow. And you did all
Yeah.
all those stairs.
Yeah.
That's great.
That was a very good experience, because that was the goal that I had before I go the Skill for Life in Houston. So that was the goal that I was working with the therapists, and they inspire me for do this, and I say, yeah, of course I go do it. But I was more people doing too, so inspire me too. A couple people that they don't have no legs. They claim the Willis Tower with the arm only. So it's a lot of things that I learned by the marathon. So, and I was so fine for me. Not too hard, but I was not too easy too. So I prepared before I go, and no, I was very good experience, very good. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And
That's wonderful.
that's it. And practice, like go to the gym. Sometimes we go to the gym, the pool, and that's it.
Well, good.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Where do you live, Raul?
I'm living in Edison, Illinois,
Okay.
in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we missing anybody?
Yeah, we have Anae and Sam left.
Hey, I can go. So Anae Jones, I live in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. I am a bilateral arm amputee from birth. So yeah, some of the activities, sports I like to do. I used to ride a bike, but it's giving me shoulder problems. So that's actually on my bucket list to get some kind of adaptive bike made, but I don't know. Gareth is always like, what about the new bike I want to get? Just kidding. So, because my husband's really into biking. Anyway, it's on my bucket list of things that I possibly want to do. Jessica Cox really inspired me with her adaptive bike. I'm like, oh, well, maybe like a recumbent bike would be better for me because I actually ride a two-wheel bike with an extended handlebar for my shoulders. Other sports I like to do is I do stepping and marching. I love walking. I love hiking with my family, gardening. I have to be careful about my knee because I have a really bad knee. So I don't do skiing or anything like that. I kind of have to decide what I want to do more, be able to do all the things I enjoy on a regular basis or do something that is a high risk situation for me. So yeah, that's me. But anyway, happy and healthy, whatever.
That's all you can ask for, that's good. I know the knees are a thing. Snowshoeing,
Yeah.
maybe snowshoeing.
Maybe I wear a knee brace when we do like hiking in the mountains, so that I got that last year, and that does help, gives me a little more security and helps me enjoy the outdoors, which we enjoy. So
Yeah. Being in Canada, I think you have to embrace the cold and the outdoors.
oh, the summer can be so nice though.
Yeah, I'd love to go. I have never been to Canada. I would love to go to Canada.
You
Yeah,
should,
it's
especially in the
beautiful.
summertime. Even
Yeah.
visit like Waterton is really beautiful, just south of where I live, or up and down. I know Sean has been up this way. So
Yeah, I hear it's beautiful.
where do you live?
I'm in Colorado.
Oh, nice. I
Yeah.
heard Colorado is really beautiful too.
And
Yeah.
I get to maybe ski with Christine next week in Colorado, maybe.
Yes. That's what we're working on, huh, Zach? Zach is
Hey,
my
Zach.
class. Oh gosh, sorry, I just balked him in the head. I hope you don't have a concussion now. This is Zach Harvey. You Rise now? Is it Rise? Rise Prosthetics. And I'm sitting in his office right now, and he's working on my knees and my ski knees, and he does all my prosthetics, all my prosthetics, my hands, my hooks, my running legs, my ski legs, the whole deal.
So
He's bionic.
thank you, Zach, for letting her continue to host this Zoom session today during her appointment. And thanks, Christine, for agreeing
this
to
is
do it.
exciting. I've always wanted to go to Skills for Life, and it just happened. She let me know yesterday, so
Yeah.
excited to meet all of you.
And then Sam is driving. I don't know if he wants to talk, but that's it that I have.
Yeah, I can talk. I'm up at the ski resort. That's where I work. And my sports activities I like, it's snowboarding, running. I like to play any sport that anyone will allow me to play. I love basketball, my favorite one. And then finger football, which is I use my fingers as a football, my old fingers, and I throw it and I catch it. And then you have to tackle the guy that has my fingers. And that's it.
I'm all about that.
You were also really good playing that sport in the airport. What was he playing, Mike? Oh, you're not Mike. Sorry. Sam,
Pokemon.
what were you playing? That game that was really popular like 3 years ago in the airport.
Yeah, I'm an expert master Pokemon
Pokemon
player.
That's right.
And I'm taking him hunting too this year.
And I'm gonna go hunting with Jason in Kentucky.
When is that happening? Y'all gotta send pictures.
Oh yeah, you'll get some pictures.
Of some dead animals.
They're gonna have their tongue out like this.
With X's over their eyeballs.
Yeah.
Oh, looking forward to it. Okay, well, since we're talking about sports, why don't I've got something right here. that many of you can, I'm sure some of you can relate to. Running. This is what I'm trying to do. I was a big runner before I got sepsis. Did a lot of running for, not competitively. I like to run in the morning for mental health and for fitness and just to get my day started right. And I really want to get back to it. I really enjoy it. And so Zach set me up with these running blades. But I have yet to do it. I'm getting my legs fit and I'm getting my body fit to do it. But this is one of the things that I enjoy doing and that really anybody can do. Just put your mind to it. The stuff is out there. You just have to get the bravery to go out there and
Challenge Athletes Foundation.
challenge us. And there is a foundation out there that can set you up with the product, give you the funds to fund you with the product to do it. These are the Osher blades. They fund these blades. One of the questions I was asked just today is whether they fund the sockets and the blades or just the blades. So now I can get the answer.
Typically just the blades, but in certain cases, if you don't have the height for, because this is about 14 inches of height. So if you didn't have the height, they have made special exceptions to pay for sockets as well. And the blade looks a little different for those. It's a posterior mount versus a distal mount. So you've probably seen like the Paralympic runners, the J-shaped cheetah foot mounts to the back of the socket. So the socket has to be separate. The nice thing about the distal mount like these, we're going to be setting these up on what's called farrier couplers. And so she can unscrew one screw and change from like her ski feet to her blades and keep the same set of sockets. So it's just an old set of sockets that we didn't have to remake a separate socket for.
And I have to say, they fund every year. They fund, and I have to say they're pretty generous with the funds. Time to everyone, or what organization does he? Okay, and they're pretty generous. I believe that they accept. I believe they accept the applications through until November 1st, and then they award March 1st. So
And actually,
Christine.
right now, so it's Challenge Athletes Foundation.
yeah.
Christine, I'm gonna pull a video of you up and
Okay.
From when you got your blades, I guess, initially.
Sure. Oh,
And then
it is. Convenient.
just FYI, Sam, the Challenged Athletes Foundation, they host something called the San Diego Triathlon Challenge every late October, early November. And they have other events that are fundraisers. But basically, yes, you apply for a grant to get you back to being physically active. So you can get your basketball devices paid for by Challenged Athletes Foundation. You just have to submit a scholarship grant request.
Yeah, and if the funding is still there right now, their Challenge Athletes Foundation is actually doing a rolling application now, where you don't have to wait until the fall to apply. But this is the farrier coupler.
Oh, let me get you back on the screen.
Oh,
sorry. All right, here we go.
Sorry, so this is the farrier coupler. It's just a pin. It fits in there and screws in. And let's see if we can pull it out. Kind of hard to see. Well, actually, so you can see like on the top of the ski foot, there's another base, so the same socket can be used, and that's how you change. It's just unscrew one and screw back in. There's a little key that comes with this too that makes it easier to screw and unscrew.
Yeah. And it's simple to do. I mean, we do it at, like with the ski boot that was just up there, the ski foot sits right in the boot, and I'll just take the boot up to the ski slope with me, and I can just attach that. Where did I, oh, here, I'll show you. I know I'm switching gears on you here, but since we're talking about that coupler,
I can just take your leg off.
yeah. It just attaches from device to device.
Oh, they're tight.
Okay, so Christine, after that, Bill has a question, after you get,
Oh,
after you show
sure.
this piece.
Then you can just use your normal ski boot, normal skis, and just hit the slopes like that. So if you're interested in skiing parallel skis and not in a sled, you can go that route too. I haven't tried the sled skiing, so that's an option. So let's take a question or two.
Yes, hi. My newest socket is still going to be a pin system.
Okay.
I'm wondering about the compatibility of that. I guess I'm considered a K3, but if I wanted to get more active and run and use a blade such as that, would my current socket work, or would I need a different, more robust one, let's say, to handle the greater stress?
I could personally answer that as far as comfort. I tried skiing with, I have a pin system right now for walking, and last 2 weekends ago, I tried to ski with the pin. And what I noticed is that the pin, because there's no gap between, with the pin system, there's really no gap between your limb and the socket itself. I felt a lot of pressure on my limb, and so I had a lot of pain. And I wouldn't recommend the pin system with skiing.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go back to, what is the word for it? That kind of
Suction socket.
suction. I would recommend a suction socket if you're going to try skiing with that kind of system that I just demonstrated.
And running.
And running too, because the space between there acts as more of a like a piston and provides a little bit of that cushioning effect,
Right.
to alleviate that pain, because I had extreme pain when I tried to ski with the pin.
Yeah, and I'm not so much interested in running as I am in skiing.
Yeah. And I mean, I
I
was even going just like a green. I mean, even just trying to parallel on a green, even that slight twist, I found it very painful.
And
As
you were
where,
spinning in the socket.
and I was spinning in the socket too with the
Gotcha.
pin. But with the pressure, with the suction type, no pain at all. There was a huge difference. I was surprised.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you may want to just have a different socket system just for skiing only.
And what is the organization that helps fund the blades and or the adaptations for skiing?
The Challenged Athletes Fund.
Challenge athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yep.
And then, hey, Sam, will you mention the center out of Utah that you work with? Maybe Sam.
Yeah, so over here in Utah, and I was just typing also some more, that there's some in Colorado too. Every resort has an organization that's tied to it, almost every resort. But in Park City, there's one that's called National Ability Center, and their goal or their mission is to help people with disabilities to do winter sports. They also in the summer help people with disabilities to ride horses. And then there's Wasatch Adaptive Sports, and what else? There you go.
National.
And then in Copper, Colorado, I know of one that's called Adaptive Action Sports. All of those organizations are exist with the goal to help people with disabilities do sports.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
There's another one too called the National Sports Center for the Disabled too. National, I don't know if it's specific to Colorado, but it's based out of Winter Park, Colorado. And yeah, and I took some lessons there. Yeah, and I took some lessons there. National Sports Center for the Disabled is another one you could look into in Winter Park. Yeah.
Great, thank you. I have a goal of being on the slopes next season. We have seasons out here in the East Coast. We don't get to ski all year. We call them the Pocono Mountains, but they don't qualify as mountains.
Well, good. When you come out this way, you have to get in touch.
Indeed.
Let us know. We'll do a little club, make a little club of it.
When I went sit skiing, because I can't wear my prosthetic legs at this point, but we went to Winter Park to the NSCD, the National Sports Center for Disabled. And what I thought the coolest part about it was that they had you fill out like a little questionnaire before you showed up. And it literally took less than 30 minutes for them to have me all set up and in a sled and on the lift. So I guess I would have thought that would have taken a little more work, but they knew what to expect. So I thought that was pretty incredible.
That's great. I had no idea that was so quick.
Yeah.
Were you out there all day? Did you stay all day? Stay out there?
Yeah, I wore my husband out because I didn't want to quit.
That's awesome.
I mean, sit skiing, I thought was actually more fun than regular skiing because you feel like a kid on a sled again, only you go way faster.
Oh, I never would have thought of that. Did you feel like you're gonna crash into anybody? Because I think I would have.
No.
Oh, that's great. How fun.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. I thought it was highly enjoyable.
That's great. Does anybody else have any other winter sports? I remember somebody emailing about hockey. Somebody wanted to learn about hockey, or anybody here
I
on-
think that might, I don't know. I know I saw people commenting, it might have been James, but his audio wasn't working.
Oh, too bad. Okay.
So he left because he couldn't get it to work.
Doggone it.
Is dodging ice a winter sport?
Why don't you tell us about winter sports? Do you have anything to contribute for winter sports?
No, I
Ice
stay
hockey?
inside in the winter. I stay inside so I don't slip and fall.
I'll share
No,
something.
I mean,
Okay.
Victoria? Okay. Yeah. So I will share something I found today. This doesn't necessarily meet with you guys, but you might know some people, or it might be something that would help you. I CrossFit, and so CrossFit's very adaptive. If you've never done it before, there's just so many things that you can do. It's all about functional fitness. So I've worked with some people here in our local community. I was actually on the board of an adaptive functional fitness thing for a while. But there was the CrossFit Open this year is like their national competition. And then you go to regionals and so on and so forth. So one of their, first of all, this year, the Open has a completely adaptive program for adaptive athletes so that they can score themselves across other adaptive athletes all across the world. And Equip Products, EQIP Products, was one of the people who were mentioned today, and I've been on their site and I've been quite impressed. For people who want to do gym type workouts, and they need, it's not so much prosthetics, because it's just really for adaptations for whatever it is. But so, for example, if you have an arm, I know Jason's got some sockets that he can pull a compound bow and some pretty crazy stuff, and his prosthesis stays on. So you'd have to do some of that. But like for rowing, there's a hook that hooks to the two handles so that you can pull it with one hand, for someone who cannot pull with both hands, or your hooks might slide off. There are different kinds of jump ropes for people who are seated athletes, like somebody who's in a wheelchair can actually use a rope, and they have these little rubber tips on them. So instead of actually jumping over the rope, you have to utilize both hands to make the rope motion, and these tips then hit the ground, and that tells you when, you know, they're jumping the rope. They have things for visually impaired personnel. So if you wanted to use a barbell and you don't know where your hands go, they have these little things that block your hands so you can put your hands up against them. They have white ropes and white balls and soft-sided boxes and different things that you can use for different types of adaptations.
That's great. That's great information.
I tried to spell it. Is it EQUIP Products? I tried to put it in the chat bar.
It's EQIP, I believe, Victoria.
EQUIP, like equipment.
Okay.
Equipproducts.com.
Okay.
That's great.
So how far are you able to run, Christine, in your blades?
Oh, I don't run on my blades yet. I got to get there.
Okay.
I'm still trying. Yeah, I'm still trying.
I should have realized that when you had the mask on in the video, in the first video, because that was your first fitting with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looked like I was like limping along. So yeah, it looked like I was going for it there, and I just didn't quite get over the hump.
Okay.
And I have a million excuses as to why I actually haven't ran. So, but it's happening.
Okay.
It's happening.
You're gonna get there. That's awesome.
Nerves. Is anybody else running yet? Want to share tips or tricks or anything about running?
I do.
Yeah, Sam.
Go for it, Sam.
So I have legs. So running is not as much work to get running, but I do like to listen to music, and I like to track my running. And so you have to get the armband on, and you have to get your shoes on. So a lot of running is being prepared for all that stuff while you have your prosthetics on, because I don't like to run with my prosthetics on and be sweating and have a pool of sweat inside my sockets. So I'll get my shoes on. I'll get, I have an armband that I can put on without prosthetics. And then I have a headphones that I can put on without prosthetics. So a lot of that stuff I'll get ready before, and then some of it I have ready so that I can just put it on with my residual stumps. But I think the key with it is you got to think ahead, and that's pretty much the key to using a lot of prosthetics anyway. So
Right.
Sometimes we become good at that.
Yeah, I would agree. The problem I found was just getting, I don't know what it is in my head, the bravery to like make that first jump into trusting myself to, I don't know, put that first step forward and not fall.
Have Zach or you maybe you should maybe one year consider going to the Challenged Athletes Foundation, the San Diego Triathlon Challenge. And in the past, please forgive me, I've forgotten his name. Prosthetist with hanger, and he does running clinics.
Yes. I looked for those clinics this year and they were canceled because of COVID. And I checked to see if there was any for 2021 yet, and nothing has been posted online. So I'm going to look for those.
Okay.
And try to hook up with one of those. But yeah, I've been on the hunt.
Good.
I need a clinic.
One other thing about running is, like, some people can be self-conscious of running like with their arms off, and you're just this running person with no arms and everyone's staring at you with their cars driving by.
Yeah.
And you just, I mean, that's just courage and not caring what everyone else thinks. So
Yeah.
and it's a different kind of thing that you're afraid of falling, but it still involves courage. And I fell one time. I fell pretty bad, and but it's very rare. I've only fell one time in 10 years.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
Yeah. Well, the thing with it was more of a rainy day, and then they were doing construction on the road, and so they put a metal plate, and then the rain plus the metal plate, super slippery, and mud, and I just went down on the ground, and I used my stump to break my fall. I bet you I should have had stitches, but I didn't get them. So just be aware of the conditions, I guess, is what I'm saying.
No, that's smart advice. Definitely.
Yeah.
Bill, do you have a question?
Yes. In addition to hiking and skiing, my primary desire is to get back to biking again.
Yeah.
And I do plan on, now that I've learned that the application process is rolling, I want to apply for the Challenged Athletes scholarship. But more to the point, I had a desire to just be able to ride a regular bike with a hook or with prosthetics. And I wanted to ask about people's experience with that and the inadvisability or advisability of that. And how does one operate brakes, for example, or gear shifting with say, hooks as your prosthetic?
So Anne, you have experience in that, right? Is it Anne from Canada? My Canada lady.
Yeah, sorry. I was just
That's
washing
okay.
dishes and my feet.
It looked like you're on. You've got. I'm sorry, I'm bringing you back from chores. Don't you welcome that?
I know, totally, but the house feels like chaos.
You've got a little bit of experience with biking, correct?
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit what some other people have done too, because mine's my amputation is right at the shoulder. So my bike, for example, the handle, and my bike is put away, so I can't show you, but the handlebars come up like that, so like a kind of slanted square, and then I lean into it and I can steer with my shoulders and kind of grab onto the handlebar with my chin. So for braking, my bike is only a 3-speed, but we found one that did have speeds on it, and then I just back pedal. But Jessica Cox and Anya both have bikes that Anya has something called the banana bike, and then Jessica has something, I'm not quite sure actually how she brakes and shifts, but for me, I have to get off my bike to shift, so that's actually giving me a bit of desire to do something different. And I mean, I've been riding a regular bike since I was in grade 5, I think, but as I've gotten older, like a couple of years ago, I had some major shoulder problems, so getting back on the bike actually kind of scared me because I didn't want to go into that chronic pain anymore. But I did put a link in the chat there. I saw just recently an article of a company out of Calgary that does these adaptive mountain bikes for, like, say, for example, people in wheelchairs, and it allows people to go on these biking trails, and the seat is stabilized so it moves with the terrain. So the person in the bike isn't like wobbling back and forth, they're like staying stable. So there is some really neat stuff out there. It's just the cost. Another guy I know, he didn't start biking until I think he was in his early 20s. He's a quad amp, so he's missing parts of each of his limbs. And a couple of things that he did, I've seen like people with a hook will put like elastic bands around to help kind of secure the hook in place. They'll put bands around the handlebars so it will still come off if you have a wipeout, but it's a little more stable. And then what my friend Jay did is he had electronic shifters, so that helped with shifting. And then he had a brake that was installed on his seat, so he just had to push back with his bum and it braked for him. So I thought that was actually really cool. So I mean, I think there's stuff out there. It's just I get a little overwhelmed by the cost of it. So this bike that I sent from, I can't remember the name of the company, this adaptive mountain bike was like $15,000, but I'm not actually interested in mountain biking. I'd be interested in some like road biking. So I mean, as much as, I don't know, from coming from an age when I was younger where I didn't want to look any different from anyone else and I wanted to ride a regular bike, and now being older and realizing I want to take care of myself more and do what actually works best for me and feels comfortable. So I don't know, that's something to keep in mind, I guess. I don't know if that answered any of your questions, but
It does help. Thanks so much. And
oh,
I'm older than dirt, but I still want to look like I'm riding a regular bicycle to some extent.
yes.
And that's why and indeed wanted, considering the expense of getting back behind the wheel of a car, using a bicycle for commuting or transportation, and wanting to be safe,
Mhm.
but also look cool.
I am going to look up a link. I'll see if my husband's home, but he showed me this link of this fellow was only missing one hand, but he adapted his bike and does like this crazy mountain biking. But he talked about some of the adaptations he did on his bike in terms of hand controls and stuff. So I will look. I'll see if he's home. I know he was out, and then I'll put that in the chat as well.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Hey
You're
guys,
welcome.
I'm just pulling up a screen share from Challenged Athletes Foundation to show the grant program. It says the 2021 grant application is currently closed. Next application cycle will begin in the fall of 2021. For more information, click here. But it does mention they
Adaptive parts.
give out grants all over the world, so it's not just US based. So NA, you should look into this.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. I will copy that link. What is it called again? It's the
Just type in challengeathletes.org and then
Okay.
you can type in grants. If you need it later, I can send it to you by text.
It's a little off topic, but as far as screen sharing goes, there was also something else I wanted to share with you guys too, is a group out of Boulder called TRS, and the guy makes different adaptive hooks or parts for golfing, like for skeet, skeet shooting, golfing, boy, any kind of thing that you might need to play your sport.
Yeah, I met Bob
Did you?
Randosi at Skills for Life in 2018.
You did? Okay, good.
And he just, and I talked to him about, do you do anything for throwing a frisbee? And he said no, but that's a great idea, let me give some thought, and pointed me to my local university and said, see if the engineering department might take that on, either as a capstone project or otherwise, and they did.
Wow.
But then COVID came in, and so I'm just very excited, and can't say enough about Bob and his enthusiasm and the products that he puts together.
There you go. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, he's very innovative and makes a lot of great things that you can hook on. Oh, look at that. It's got so if you've got something special that some part that you want, he might be something to look into to make a special adaptive hook for you.
There was a disc golf vendor at Amputee Coalition, the last Amputee Coalition. I can't remember the name of the group, but where were we? We were in, was it in Tucson? Was that the last one?
I think so. I don't remember.
I didn't attend, but
I don't know. I'll look that up, Bill. I've got they gave me a Frisbee. So I have a Frisbee that has their name on it, my grandkids play with. So I'm not at the house right now, but when I get back to the house, I'll look and I'll give you that because he was a single arm amputee. I'm almost positive. Don't quote me on that, but I think single arm
Texas
amputee.
assisted.
Do what?
Is it Texas assisted?
No, it was a guy who was actually had an amputee disc golf or challenge athlete gift golf, like that's what they were doing. They were going around doing disc golf tournaments all over the world.
I definitely would like that information. If I'm going to put my email and phone number in the chat.
You got it. I will find that information and I'll post it on the Facebook page too.
I'm just
Hey,
pulling
Bill.
up the other group called Texas Assistive Devices, where they're not necessarily sporting except for maybe a fishing pole. But they have wrenches and hammers and forks and screwdrivers, and they just adapt like a device so that it'll fit into the end of a prosthesis. But not necessarily a lot of sporting implements. But I will say this, if you guys remember Ronnie Heinzman from Skills for Life, and he did a little bowling demonstration while we were there, and he puts on an annual fundraiser bowling tournament. And we found out that Phil Hour, the company that makes the plunger that fits into the end of his prosthesis that goes into the bowling ball and holds the bowling ball until he releases it, that they're no longer making it. So Texas Assistive Devices is going to maybe look into fabricating it and producing it and selling it. So we're hopeful that for future bowling tournaments, we're going to have some bowling devices for people, adapted bowling devices for people.
That would be cool.
I was gonna say, Bill, as far as Frisbee goes, I just use my hook. I can catch it, throw it, all that kind of stuff. I mean, chuck it, throw it. And
All right, we need a video, Mike.
Yeah, you can, apparently you can get some spin on it then to actually make it go pretty far.
Yeah, I mean, we were playing it during the daytime, but also at night with the light up Frisbees, which is obviously a little more fun and challenging all at the same time. This was with Camp No Limits, and let me see, the one was in Big Bear, another one was in, I think it was Maine, another one was Connecticut. You just get a Frisbee, like, like 167 gram kind of one, like a little bit heavier. That's flat across the top, because as your hook is grabbing it, if there's any kind of like weird, funky curve to the surface, like a secondary curve, sometimes your hook might get caught up in it, but just grab it, throw it, see what happens.
Right. All right.
And then the catching part was pretty, I mean, I was really surprised like at how quickly I picked it up and just did it. And then as far as skiing, I would just take out the foot liner from the boot shell and then jam my own prosthetics into them. The thing with that is that when you're bending your knees or, kind of going from edge to edge, you got to fill up that gap a little bit. So I had towels because I had real skinny pylons at the time, just so that the ski boot itself had something to grab, so that when I transferred my weight from edge to edge, side to side, that motion was being transferred to the ski and wasn't being lost in the foot. Let's see. And then the biking, there are different things that you can do for the biking, as far as basically if you think of like a Pepsi bottle or something, and you cut the bottom off the Pepsi bottle, and then you can adaptively take some hose clamps and different plumbing parts, and then hose clamp that to the handlebars, and then you slip your stump into the cut off end of the, the soda bottle, water bottle, whatever is going to fit your stump. and then kind of go from there. So just a bunch of down and dirty ways. And then if you're worried about shifting and stuff like that, if you use a regular bicycle with coaster brakes and just kind of deal with it that way, or there are other adaptation like paddles and stuff like that that can be mounted, because everything is cable operated. So it can be mounted to like the horizontal bar on men's bicycles, and you hit that with your knee to shift gears. So there's different things out there, but you know, like you said, there's really expensive, and then there's, you know, $500. Okay, maybe it's worth it to explore it just to see, you know, what's possible.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for that. Thanks everybody, and thanks for the information and the links that I just saw.
I wanted to
That's
show
great.
you too, this was a design we did for a girl with a partial hand. I don't know if you can see that there. But it's just a simple opposition post. So since you have motion in your wrist, you really just need something to push against. So that might work for disc golf or riding a bike, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would agree with Mike too. A lot of things like throwing a frisbee, I was throwing darts. If you just do it a few times and figure out when to release, you know, you can get pretty good at it. You'd be surprised what you can do. And I was getting good at throwing a baseball, just learning how to exactly when to release. And it's kind of fun to challenge yourself to figure out what you can do. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I had the Touch Bionics eye digits on this hand, and just could not time the release.
That's it.
Yeah.
You'll get it.
I've embraced the idea of a hook finally from the standpoint of functionality. I don't really care what it looks like anymore, as long as I can do what I want to do. So
Right. Yeah.
Bill, my one arm looks a lot like yours, and I use an aerobie when we play frisbee. That way I can just catch it by shoving my arm in the open hole in the center of the frisbee.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
It doesn't help with the throwing, but at least the catching.
Where there's a will, there's a way, and I'm getting that will back. Yeah.
Good job, Bill. So, hey, Christine,
Yeah.
when you're throwing darts, is there any wine or beer involved? And does that cause any delay in release?
No comment.
How many people have had a dart in their ass?
I was going to say, I know we're talking about sports, but just so you guys know, in case you haven't seen the email yet, we've got a monthly schedule for these Zoom sessions, for these tips and tricks for the for our Skills for Life community. There's going to be 2 Zooms a month. So one is more set for you guys and the limb loss community, and the other ones are going to be public and anyone can attend. And so next month, our private Zoom is going to be Jason Koger talking about hunting. And then at the end of March, we're going to have Brad Schwartz. He was at Skills for Life 5. He's an attorney and a quad amputee, and he's going to be talking about how to advocate for yourself and others. So just mark your calendars. It's the 3rd Wednesday and the 4th Wednesday typically, but this month it's going to be the 5th Wednesday. Anyway, it was in an email that I sent out, I think yesterday, through Constant Contact. So just usually 3rd and 4th Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central.
Yeah, we're at the 5 o'clock your time?
Yep.
We're at that 5 o'clock time, so
yes,
I think we're at the end.
We are. But thank you so much, Christine and Zach, for letting her do this during your time.
Yes, thank you, Zach.
Yeah. Well, this is the exciting stuff about being a prosthetist, is when we get to start talking about sports related things.
Yeah.
Well, we want to see video of you up and running when you get things situated.
Thank you. He'll be doing the video, so.
Okay.
Here in Colorado, Denver. He's my guy. So thanks for hosting this monthly, Sean. I appreciate it. And thanks for everybody attending and sharing your stories. I learned a lot. And Mike, I've got to hear more about your You're skiing, the way you ski. That's interesting stuff.
It was kind of like, I didn't want to spend the money on the ski foot that snaps into the binding, but I had boots, and then I realized that I needed bigger boots, so I went to, your local, where they're gonna rent this stuff, and they always have broken stuff. I'm like, I don't care. I just want the foot shell. Just give me the foot shell. So I found a foot shell. You remove the insert, and then whatever foot shell is going to fit over your shoes that you're wearing. And then, like I said, just wrapping towels and stuff like that around the pylon so that when you're transferring weight, that's actually being transmitted to the ski and not, you're not just sitting there swinging your hips in air. So, yeah, it was fun. I mean, I reconquered the bunny slopes and crashed into Christine, my wife, while she was filming. So that was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, sure. So that's funny for her, huh?
Yeah. Right, well, come on. How fast are you going on a bunny slope? You know what I mean? It's not like the double black diamonds that I used to do. But yeah, so, just for me, it's always what's down, dirty, cheap, easy. And it's exploratory. And then if it's like, oh yeah, I really, I'm really getting into this, I definitely want to go from there. I do wear the pin liners, but my sockets, I make sure that my sockets are exceptional. And then one of the things possibly, Bill, especially with the running and stuff like that, if you're not in a vacuum system, which is pretty secure, I wear my pin liners with another pair of suspension sleeves over it. So when we went down to Mexico and was doing zip lining in the rainforest, definitely wanted to make sure that my stuff wasn't going to fall off inadvertently. So, and we were also, crossing rivers and rappelling down waterfalls and stuff like that. So the suspension sleeve over the socket with a pin lock just created more stability and security, as well as making sure that not too much water was getting inside the socket. Water inside your sneakers always going to make it heavy, but just turn upside down on your back like a dead bug and let the water come out.
I think I still have sand in my my old prosthetics from when I went to the beach and took my sneakers off and brought it back to the United States.
Yeah.
Hey, well, guys, I know Christine probably has to go, but I can leave the Zoom going for a little while longer. If y'all want to keep chatting for a little bit longer, but I know Christine probably has to get back to her appointment to get things fixed.
Yeah, I probably better go, not take too much more of their time up.
All right. Good seeing you, Christine. Thanks for doing it today. I appreciate it.
Yes,
Yeah,
Thank you, Christine. Thank you.
bye.
We'll just keep this going and I'll just leave.
Okay.
Sean, I posted the video that Gareth had found about the guy that adapted bike that rides with one hand.
Okay, when the session gets recorded, it saves the chat. I guess every time it saves the chat, so I didn't know that, but I'll make sure to post this on our closed group.
Okay, and I found actually a document that the War Amps had about riding a bike if you have an arm limb difference. So there's lots of stuff out there. I think the key thing is sometimes you just have to try something new. Like I started stepping, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 8 years ago, and I had no idea I would enjoy it so much, and it was really scary
Right.
the first time, but I just had to get used to it and try it. And I know someone that's a quad amp that does CrossFit and lifts weights. It's just finding those adaptations that work for you. So
Yep. I wanted Sam to talk a little bit about his snowboarding. I don't know, Sam, if you're still able to do that, but you tried out for the Paralympics, what, 4 years ago? But had some concussion issues, so he had to stop. But I'm glad he's still out getting out on the mountain. Okay, and I saw Takashi join, and I'm so sorry. I hope I didn't tell Takashi the wrong time zone in Japan. Good morning. Oh.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. It's morning in Japan.
Yes. Did I tell you the wrong time? Because we are about to end.
Pardon me?
I might have given you the wrong time zone in Japan because we are ending our call now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 7:10
Okay.
in the morning. Right. Nice to meet
Okay.
you.
Well, thanks everybody. And then we'll see you if you guys are going to join at the end of March or come visit for Jason's session in May. Raul, it was very good to see you.
All right, nice to see you in next month.
Okay, great.
Next month, yeah, we'll see you again, and I hope we get something to share by that time.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. All right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Bill. Bye, Christine.
Bye, y'all. Good to
Bye,
see you, Sean.
Takashi.
Okay. Bye, everyone.